Hey everybody, this is Brad Dyke saying hi, how you doing? Hope you're doing good. Still working on my Xeon station, and I got some additional parts in so I could basically start to finish it up. So I wanted to show you how that setup was going to be and how it was done. This is a nearly completed version, and I'll show you what it looks like when everything is on, per se. But anyways, so the goal is when my X10 DAI dual Xeon motherboard died because of a burnout on the power distribution, realized the voltage regulator went bad and it always kept keying the same set of power points between the power supply and the motherboard. I realized I needed to do some things here to make it more optimal. So with this new case, I think I've got that here. So let me show you. So basically, here we have the back chassis. This is the front of the chassis right here, which there's nothing there per se at all, actually. And then we have the other side of the chassis where the back part is right here. And here you can see the Corsair 1000 watt RM1000X unit is, along with its distribution, secured cabling. Down here is a 3.5 inch dry bay. Down here is a 2.5 inch, which I'm not using either of them. I've actually thought about taking them out completely because I probably won't do that in this chassis. It'll all be NVMe and SATA SSD. And then I have what's called a carryover cartridge, which is right here, and it's containing my Molex if I ever need it, PCIe extenders. You'll need that Molex in case you want to set up another distribution or you want to add more fans or something like that. You can do that. Of course, you can see here I've got my standard 100mm style fan set up here. And as you see up here, I like these rubber inserts that you've got here that can allow you to keep these closed off, because it happens, you know. So the next part of this, let me put this down here like this, will show the top section, which is right here actually. And you see the three primary fans. These are 140mm fans with one LED light up. I want the LED light up because it's just going to add some, filling in of the air and light capacity on this setup. Now we're going to turn the base to this side. And as you can see, minus my heat sinks, which is the only thing I'm waiting on now, is mounting the heat sinks on these and getting them set up. The principal goal is I've got NVMe and SATA SSD right here. I've got a sound card because I do want sound, my two GPUs, and I have a 10 gig NIC at the bottom. None of this, I don't know yet how well these will perform. That's the first detail I have to acknowledge, and it's a very viable situation on that. Hang on just a second here, let me make an adjustment. Okay, so of course we have, this is a dual-way split card. So the NVMe will run on the PCI bus, but the SATA drive will run down onto the local SATA bus, which is down here on this side down here, using this red cable, as you can see here. It's pretty clean, it's neat, it's conforming, it's got pretty good structure to it. And then in the back, we have, let me bring that in proper position here. Here in the back you can see down below the I/O panel, which I had to order from God knows where, with the two 1 gigers on board, and I have a burst port up here at the top. And then of course I've got the sound card, the NVMe, the two video cards, and there's the 10 gig NIC. And the cool thing about the NIC is it's got a nice parallel function to it, so I'm looking forward to using that. I've got a PCIe base 3 release version, so I can get much more bandwidth out of the NIC card than that of PCIe 2. So with that basically being said, the overall design is pretty solid. I like it. I think it's going to work out really well. I had a 4-prong set here which is an additional power output. So I've got 24 pin, 2 sets of 8 pins, and a 4 pin, all to provide power for this board properly. And that is probably what I suspected contributed to my problem. But I also have a variable set on the fan and regulator set, and I've got the toggle switch for my power. And all in all, it's a pretty good setup. So what will it look like when I put this together? Good question. So here we have the top section, and I think it's going to go really easy because once when I put that on board, it should be pretty sweet conforming wise. Let's see if I put it correctly. Okay, so it is closing correctly except for one part. Not sure why. But, alright. Now we have the front piece. This is the front piece, as you can see. And what we'll do here is we will be putting this, let's see here. We'll be putting this here. Yep. So let's bring that around so you can see that. So the top is now fastened, and the front is secure. It's a Pyrex glass, so it's a little stronger, so but you still have to be careful with it. Now we're going to put on this side panel here. And I'll turn this for visibility purposes. Alright. So this is the set value. And I'm trying to get this to peel off. There you go. Well, that's a start. That's an easier start. Right. So now it can get dirty, basically. Alright, so now we've got ourselves the last panel to put on, which is going to be the back panel siding over here. And so I'm going to turn it completely around to do this right. Now the nice thing about this case is that if you look here, it has bevel lips on it right here, which really makes it easy to just slide it in place and lock it in. And we're not having good contact here for some reason on the top. Something is obstructing it, or there's a distortion. Good chance it's a distortion because of the saw work I did on the case. But let's see if I can fix this. Yes, I fixed it. So now it's seaming correctly, and I can put my plugs, switches, and all of that are flush with the surface top. That's good. And I'll put this all in play. And I still can't power up my computer yet because I don't have a heatsink for each of my processors. But they're en route. I'm going server level heatsinks because of the uniqueness of the 2011 LGA slot position being slightly different than a traditional LGA 2011 slot. So I have to adjust to make sure that I can provide proper heatsink with fan output to keep it cool, because this machine is going to get hot. Okay, that looks good. So overall, I think we're looking good. So the last part of it is you will say, why do I need this kind of a monster? And I'll explain. As my counterparts at work know, we deal with a lot of different environments and a lot of different variables in those environments. And to be able to do my daily work, do the things I want to do, test work with Dockers and Kubernetes models, and other environments like AI engines and replications for Dockers to run AI engines, but having access to GPU functionality, I will pursue those test beds rapidly. And this workstation, in its old configuration, did that very well. In its new configuration, I'm hoping it's going to do it just a smidgen, a little bit more. And roughly in a year or two, I'm going to replace this machine anyways, just in general, and move it to the rack. That's what I'll probably do. But the key thing in this process, and I'll show you, is I have 3 individual NICs, one here, one here, one here. I also have a 10 gig NIC down here, so I can backbone, console, and backup. You know, I can do a variety of different options here. I'm only going to be connecting to one video card for my 2 video displays. I'm going to move to a single 52-inch curvature display, so it will go down to just one connection. But I'm leaving the other one free and available for other processes, like if I want to do crypto testing, or if I want to do GPU testing with AI, and so on and so on. I have the mixture that's going to let me do that. And I'm running at SSD level and NVMe level bandwidths to give me the much higher transitional bandwidth. So I've got 2.5 terabytes of available space in this unit, strictly on NVMe cards. And eventually I'll move up to a 4 gig and so on in time. But I'll probably also eventually transition to another motherboard, put it in this case, have better RAM, a faster PCIe bus, and can do direct NVMe, unlike the data bridge card, which means I'll have slots on the motherboard for NVMe only, and then I could use this guy for SSD for future work. But with that being said, the whole point of this particular design implementation was to provide a workstation that would allow me to do my day-to-day work, my home work, my gaming, my server work, my Docker work, my Kubernetes work, and so on and so on and so on and so on, and my virtualized machines, and virtualized machines using AI, using GPU, and just I have the flexibility to do just about anything I want. And I usually focus up to the point of a ready state, because that's what I do as an operations person. I get things to a ready state. I don't necessarily optimize code or things like that. That's not my strength. But this is my strength and where I really lie in the environment. And allows me to have that flexibility. Many a time, as my counterpart and I have worked at my workplace, where I had the workstation just off to the right of my work laptop, and I can execute set values and so on to get what I need to have done pretty quickly. So, but anyways, well, this is Brad Dyke doing a technical video. I'm going to let you go. Have a great day. God bless, and have a great week.